Hi there, I'm James Gordon, and welcome to Act 1 of the online version of Smashing the Oligarchy and other fun pre-apocalypse activities. I hope you get to experience the live theater version of this production at some point. It's a little more interactive and includes up-to-date additions. Barring that, I hope you get something out of this. I'm going to start, oddly enough, with a reference to the most prophetic theme song in television history. It was released at the dawn of the age of consumerism, an age that we'll talk about more during this production. Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip. Fateful? No kidding. We're all going to crash unless we turn this ship around. 8 billion passengers on board a tiny ship. If you'll permit me to use that ship as a metaphor for our planet that's in the throes of a veritable shipwreck, you'll see how prescient the Gilligan's Island writers really were. The weather started getting rough. No kidding again, tell me about it. We're in a perfect storm. The ship ran aground in what was likely a 100-year storm, the kind, despite the name, that we're getting almost daily somewhere in the world now. It's one of the symptoms of our climate emergency. Our ship is floundering on the metaphorical rocks put there by a corporate cadre to deliberately loot and pillage our poor planet. They probably built the SS Minnow to fail. And now we can probably look at SS as a foreshadowing of the stormtroopers we're seeing rampant in the poor United States of America right now. And in using that reference, I should explain two things. One, writing this opus has been next to impossible since one of the most successful tools that oligarchs use is shock and awe. There's something new every day, so this is already out of date by the time you're watching this. And two, you'll hear a lot about the American kleptocracy, oligarchy, broligarchy, whatever you want to call it, because they are sucking all the oxygen right now, taking our attentions away from the climate emergency that I'll be speaking about for you. And because we can't feel safe from their nefarious ambitions, even here in Canada. They're coming for our freedom, our water, and they're coming fast. We need to be ready. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, the Minnow would be lost. Turns out that crew was as hapless as most of our progressive political parties are these days. So now it's up to us to be the fearless crew, or the Minnow will be lost. The Minnow will be lost. We're all like lowly minnows being swallowed by the big, ugly fish. Collectively, we've got to be the skipper now. It's a job share, and the pay is survival pay, and it's not crypto, for Christ's sake. The millionaire. Wait, with inflation, that would be billionaire. I'm sorry, Thurston Howell III, and you can tell with a name like that it was not earned wealth but inherited. Just like most oligarchs, you've got to be booted off the island. And by the way, was it a coincidence that in casting the actor who played Thurston, he of the endless thirst for riches, that he was the same dude who was the voice for Mr. Magoo, a myopic, hopeless hero who didn't know where he was going and didn't seem to care? And his wife. This was at the dawn of the age of feminism, too, so poor Mrs. Howell doesn't even get a name in the song. It was Lovey, by the way. And if we're not careful, all those years of feminist activism will be negated with an executive order. The movie star. That's because no show would be complete without referencing our cult of celebrity, which we'll talk about later. Starting with Ronald Reagan right up to he whose name will not be mentioned in this show, we've now got the wild notion that celebrities would make good leaders. We're disproving that theory every damn day. The Professor and Marianne. They didn't even mention the Professor and Marianne till the second year. They were just, and the rest. The afterthought they were was actually the knowledge keeper and the regular person. Go figure. We've got to flip that song and this world order upside down. In that new order, the professor and Marianne would have been the leaders. The uncharted desert isle, as they said in the song, actually seemed to have a lot of palm trees and jungles to me, but now that isle is the scary but potentially green and fertile place we can salvage from this wreck, only if we work together to water that desert. The uncharted part is the unknown we're facing, so it's time to write new charts together, and if we look at history, which too few of us do, so we keep repeating our mistakes, there are ancient charts to show us the way. Of course, it turns out that we're not on Gilligan's Island, we're on Turtle Island. So let's make sure as we move forward, and move we must, that we look to the stewardship, courage, and resilience that Indigenous peoples have shown against incredible odds. The colonials were among the first oligarchs, of course. And in the live version of this performance, this is where I would do the land acknowledgement. I don't know where you're watching in from, so I encourage you to do that on your own at home. So yes, it's time to turn that ship around. So come with me for a 2-hour cruise, an approximately 2-hour cruise. Oh, by the way, terms of reference here, what exactly is an oligarchy? Officially, it is a form of government in which power rests with a small number of people. These people may or may not be distinguished by one or several characteristics, such as nobility, fame, wealth, education, or corporate, religious, political, or military control. First up on the cruise, there's a choice we all have to make for ourselves. How are we going to live our lives when faced with impending disaster? Too many of us have a certain inertia about this. We are afraid that the change we need might be too much of a sacrifice. I'm going to argue that the things we might lose were not necessarily worth keeping, and what we stand to gain has greater rewards. So here, after all that ranting, is the first song called How. We're staring a hurricane in the eye. Temperatures and tempers are running high. Banks and wells are running dry. How do we live our lives? Do we just take the money and run? Move to the country, buy a gun, wait for the day of judgment to come? How do we live our lives? If it's all coming down, tell me how do we live our lives now? Do we go after the consumerists, the ones who got us into this? Show them another way exists. How do we live our lives? Do we try to keep our footprint small? Could we make a farm out of that mall? Is there anything we can do at all? How do we live our lives? If it's all coming down, tell me how do we live our lives now? Do we abandon this sinking Titanic to a leader who just says, don't panic? Do we try to go local, green and organic? How do we live our lives? Do we confront the climate change deniers? Quit preaching only to the choir. Crank it up just a little bit higher. How do we live our lives? If it's it's all coming down, tell me how do we live our lives now? Get in our cars and just drive fast until we run right out of gas? Do we go out in a last plastic blast? How do we live our lives? If it's all coming down, tell me how do we live our lives now? So, James, why did you call it The Suicide of Democracy in the title? You might well ask. I suppose it's assisted suicide because of pure neglect. How many of us actually even bother to vote anymore? When I ran for office, it was common for folks at the doorstep to say, "Why vote if it's the same people that get in every time? People that don't represent my needs." Well, duh. The same people get in because the same people are voting. I get that attitude, though. Winston Churchill, the soundbite master, famously said, "No one pretends that democracy is perfect or all-wise. Indeed, it has been said that democracy is the worst form of government, except for all those other forms that have been tried from time to time." We allowed democracy to die while we weren't looking. Too many of us were distracted like crows by something that looked shiny. A beer for a buck, cheaper groceries. We're all such suckers. Lower taxes, axe the tax, a return to family values, whatever the hell that meant. Or even worse, buying into the totally false narratives about immigrants and the LGBTQ plus community. We let democracy slip between our greedy fingers that have embraced selfishness and fear after a generation of being hammered daily by a barrage of advertising propaganda that invited us to abandon our former search for salvation or a higher purpose in exchange for accumulating more stuff. The more stuff we could get, the better, we thought, till we started to worship billionaires instead of saints because they had the most stuff. We won't stray from that orgy of consumerism, that perpetual quest for that Black Friday big screen TV sale, until we wake up one day to find that those billionaires actually have all the stuff, and they're getting close. That they have risen to that sainthood of capitalism and become oligarchs who don't give one orange turd about the very chumps who elevated them to that sacred realm. They have us all by the balls. What balls we have left after being castrated by a system that we helped create, lost in the American dream that was actually a nightmare. That dream claimed that we could rise to the pinnacle of success and find happiness through climbing our way to the top by ignoring the one trait that had at one time given us a fighting chance of making our species somewhat better than when we crawled out of the ocean. Empathy. You're afraid, I see that clearly, and I know where that comes from. Things are changing so severely. We're living under a monster's thumb, where once our future looked so green. Now the landscape's dark and barren. We're in the age of selfishness and greed, overwhelmed by Kyles and Karens. What happened to the love we shared? Where is the basic human decency? Remember when we seemed to care. What happened to you? What happened to me? What happened to empathy? Truth has taken a vacation, and kindness went along for the ride, and it's left a bitter, broken nation, beaten and divided. Remember, love thy neighbor, and living in harmony. Now we rattle our sabers and descend into tyranny. What happened to the love we shared? Where is the basic human decency? Remember when we seemed to care? What happened to you? What happened to me? What happened to What happened to the love we shared? Where is the basic human decency? Remember when we seemed to care? What happened to you? What happened to me? What happened to In the US, they rewarded greed and selfishness by choosing the greediest, most selfish, most unempathetic quasi-human on the planet. We've known dictators, oligarchs, tyrants, and kings before, of course. Most recently, we had the era of the robber barons, which is perhaps a better name for what we're witnessing right now. There was a time when we peasants would rise up as one and line them up at the guillotine. This time, we used the last gasping vestige of the democracy we won through revolution to actually elect those bastards. We went through that in Ontario recently. You know, the guy who looks like the skipper? We really knew what the agenda was, and we had been lied to so often that we forgot what the truth was. In the U.S., it was all neatly laid out in a document called Project 25, which seemed far-fetched at the time but is very real now. We knew it, and in more countries than the U.S., enough of us said, "Yes, please," that we handed them our heads on a platter. Nothing mattered in the end. The unfathomable ignorance, the selfishness, the arrogance, the claims made with no evidence. Nothing mattered in the end. The probable dementia, the malevolent intentions, the lies, the insurrection, all his henchmen, all the yes-men, grifters, gangsters, thugs, and crooks, his flim-flam scams, the frauds he ran, the way he cooked the books, his obsession for revenge upon his many enemies. America took a good long look, and they said, "Yes, please," and they said, "Yes, please." Nothing mattered in the end. The rapes, the misogyny, the homophobia, the bigotry, his penchant for autocracy. Nothing mattered in the end. His dangerous defiance, his denial of science, his Putin and Musk alliance, the way he managed to convince his cult to swallow his baloney, the way his so-called policies will only help his toady cronies, the way he showed such cruel disdain for our democracy. America took a good long look and they said, yes, please. And they said, yes, please. They raised up an orange idol, a red-hatted anti-hero, and handed him the keys to Rome so he could be their Nero. Played them all for fools with talk of cheaper groceries. America took a good long look and they said, yes, please. And they said, yes, please. So, what the hell am I actually doing here, you could ask? Well, along with being a Song and Rants Man, I'm a climate activist who has spent a long time using what limited facility I have as an artist to try to offer ways forward to mitigate our climate disaster and salvage a future for ourselves and the planet. I toured Canada with a one-man show called James Gordon's Emergency Climate Musical, and when I did my civic duty as an elected official for 8 years, I was a member of the national and provincial climate caucuses. I helped start a succession of climate change advocacy groups, but surprise, surprise, it turns out that putting on a play didn't change the world. Damn it. At least it stimulated conversation. Our straits are more dire since then, and I've been under pressure to revive that production and update it. My climate hero remains Greta Thunberg. I took the train to New York City to hear her when she sailed across the ocean to speak with eloquence and passion, a speech that mostly fell on deaf ears. I always had one difference of opinion with her, though. She famously said that we have to act as if our house is on fire. My view is that if we're convinced we're all going up in flames, we don't have the incentive to act. We'll hide under a rock. My alternative is that despite my ingrained cynicism that I'm sure many of you share, we have to look for little glimmers of hope that we might actually have a future to leave for the next generation. I'm here so that we can look for those glimmers together and leave with some ideas that we can work on. I'm hopeful that we can each find a little corner of this worried world to nurture in a way that's effective and rewarding and even fun. You know how successful you-know-who has been at repeating a lie until it's believed? Well, I feel the same about truth. Let's keep repeating truth. When I say we have to welcome hope into our lives, we have to mean it. It has to be real. I've become so cynical that I have to sing this song repeatedly to make it feel real. I'll do it just once for you. And I confess that when I wrote it last year, it took a while till I felt sincere singing it. I saw her peeking through the curtain, heard her rattle in the gate, fragile and uncertain. She whispered, sorry I'm late. I gave her my last cup of positivity. She drank it all up. Then she said to me, I've been gone so long, I was chased away by fear. You can't put it in a song, sing it loud and clear, that I am here to stay. let the church bells sound. Though we've lost our way, tell them hope is back in town. She said, I'm as frail as a flower, as precious as the air we breathe, but I have got the power as long as we believe that there's an end to all this madness. There's a future we can share. There's a way beyond this sadness that is everywhere. I've been gone so long, I was chased away by fear. You can put it in your song, sing it loud and clear, that I am here to stay. Let the church bells sound. Though we've lost our way, tell them hope is back in town. Surrounded by despair, I couldn't stay alive, but now there's something in the air that makes me think we can survive. If you hold me in your heart, if you hang on tight, maybe we can make a start. Maybe we can make things right. I've been gone so long, I was chased away by fear. You can put it in your song, sing it loud and clear, that I am here to stay. Let the church bells sound. Though we've lost our way, tell them hope is back in town. Hope is back in town. Looking for hope is the only way to manage the overwhelm we seem to be all feeling. We're all carrying the world's heavy weight.
Those shoulders of yours were not built to carry the world's heavy weight. It's so much to bear, I'm afraid you'll get buried in your fragile state. You'll get lost in the rubble, overwhelmed by the troubles that drop like bombs every day. You always fight the good fight, turning darkness to light when it makes me wanna run away. That big heart of yours, with so much love in it, wasn't made for the fear and the hate. How much can you hold? There must be a limit to what that poor heart can take. As things keep getting worse, I fear it'll burst. If I trusted some God, I would pray that the goodness in you somehow make it through to find the sun in these skies of gray. You can't make the rain of fire cease all on your own. Can you wave a flag let's fight the good fight. Together we might just find a better way.
Thank you ever so much.
Those derned oligarchs must have read the shock doctrine, thanks Naomi, since we're being bombarded relentlessly with new challenges every day. It's easy to give up, and that's exactly what they want. There's actually a new theory that the oligarchs are not climate change deniers. They feel that we're doomed, so they're going to have one glorious, gluttonous, excessive generation left and take us all down with them. In my climate work, in plodding along with promoting heat pumps and solar power and recycling, I'm recycling some songs in this show, by the way, we also got distracted from the undeniable fact that the new oligarchs have deliberately rolled us back 30 years in our climate mitigation efforts. Drill, baby, drill is the new mantra. In Canada, too. So, for us to move ahead with climate issues, first, we have to smash the oligarchy. That, to me, is job number one. My glimmer of hope is that we can gather together in something those oligarch dudes hate. And they mostly are dudes these days. Community. Because it's the opposite of what they stand for. It represents love instead of hate, cooperation instead of dictatorial edicts, sharing and caring instead of fear and greed. We can and must get her done together. So, how do we smash them? Let me count the ways. Since they are all about filthy lucre, it seems to me that we can collectively stop buying the crap they're selling us for a start, and they won't be able to exploit us anymore. It's mostly crap and mostly lies now anyways, but we continue to swallow the swill they spew. Tariff terror can actually be an opportunity to learn to use less. Back to that pillar of wisdom, Gilligan's Island, for a moment. No phone, no lights, no motor car, not a single luxury. Like Robinson Crusoe, it's primitive as can be. But maybe Crusoe had it right. We have the capacity to feel quite rich doing without luxuries. It's our zeal for limitless stuff that started us on this fateful trip. And sorry, but it's not primitive to not have stuff. It can be more enlightened. And many of us are looking to find luxury in hippie crap like peace, love, and understanding, and yes, empathy. The easiest target is, I think, Jeff Bezos. We managed before Amazon, and we can do it again. I believe that he got rich not because he was greedy, but because he knew we were. It's perhaps not ironic that that dude named this company after the area in the world that has been most raped and pillaged, destroying so much land that we rely on globally to keep our ecosystem in balance. Stop filling up his cart. And the most rewarding way to do that is to, yes, go local. Going local builds resistance, builds community, and creates thriving neighborhood economies. We can do it with energy, getting off the grid, with supporting local businesses, and particularly around food. I contend that the greatest invention leading to the downfall of local food consumption was the refrigerator. Here's a song about that. You can tell me if you think I'm right.
It was a great big brand new Calvinator. First one on the street. Came in the back of the Eaton's truck. In the muggy August heat, we all gathered round to watch as Grandpa plugged it in. He announced when the light went on, now the new age begins. Every day we used to head down to the corner grocer. Local food from farmers we knew. Mama said it made the neighbors closer. But that fridge, it was so big, we didn't have to go out every day. You could get frozen food that lasted, and it came from far away. Soon the stores with the stuff to fill it They all moved to the edge of town, and after a while we moved there too. The local grocery, it closed down. That packaged supermarket food, why, it can last for about a year. Ever since we got that fridge, things sure are different around here. Grandma stopped canning and preserving. There was no point anymore. You could get fruit from California all year round at that giant store. Besides, when we moved to the suburbs, they took all the best farmland. We have to get our food from somewhere else. It's all part of a global plan. But then the price of gas went up. My job, it got downsized. Somewhere along the way, we started to realize that we needed to think smaller, more local to survive. And the neighborhoods, they started to feel a little more alive. Now I got this brand new refrigerator, not much more than a cubic foot, energy efficient, and it's just big enough to put a day or two of groceries in it. So it makes me get out and walk down to that new corner grocer. Me and the owner, we likes to talk about a new way of living, a new local plan. I'm gonna get Grandma to teach me how to put up peaches in cans. And I took that big old Calvinator, put it on its back out in the yard, took off the door, filled it with soil, and planted me a little Swiss chard. Thank you.
And here's a fun way to stock up on food and eliminate billionaires at the same time. I figured if I'm talking about food security and new ways to be sustainable, I should include a recipe book. Eggs are out of sight, bacon prices are a fright, like the rest of your groceries. And no one's there to help, you gotta do it for yourself. But how are we supposed to eat? Here's something for your diet, I encourage you to try it. You'd be doing us all a favor. Go ahead and try a bite, I think it's something you would like, with some ketchup for the flavor. Eat the rich, they're very tasty. They were raised on caviar, and you can bake them in a lovely pastry, or cook them on the barbecue. The poor are just too bony. The rich are rich in fat. They're so full of baloney. They're good for all except Jack Sprat. Eat the rich. Even beans and rice are an awfully high price. You can't afford them on a minimum wage. But try a billionaire, they are quite yummy paired with a decent Chardonnay. Chewing on the greedy when too many are so needy, it seems alright to me. They raise the cost of your food, so it's only fair, dudes, if you like well done white meat. Eat the rich, they're appetizing, though they're filled with preservatives. They're soft and it's quite surprising how nice they are when squished through a sieve. They're really quite delicious in the hands of the right chef. You'll clean up all the dishes, eating Elon, Mark, or Jeff. Eat the rich. Get out your knives and forks now, go team. And even though they're filled with crap, they're an excellent source of protein, and you help eliminate the income gap. Eat the rich, they're really scrumptious in a casserole or a bun. And even though they're all so unctuous, having one for dinner is quite fun. A Fortune 500 cookie comes with
our billionaire cookbook, we show you how to get them finely peeled. Eat the rich. Oh yeah.
And another easy one. Ever since Jed Clampett shot at a squirrel and up from the ground come a bubble in crude, the Oligarchy has been greasing the wheels of their machine with it, and they quite falsely have convinced us that we rely on it. Oops, I guess the Beverly Hillbillies is the wrong iconic 60s TV show theme, but a good one. And don't forget that show's concept was based on relentlessly making fun of the lifestyles of the rich and famous. It's easier than ever to get off the oil, and in many cases, cheaper.
Take a look at myself. I gotta get off, gotta get off, gotta get off, gotta get off, gotta get off of the oil. Just a casual user. When it all began, now I'm a substance abuser. Things are out of hand. It's the last thing that I do. I ignored all of the warnings. Black tide on the bayou, I might as well admit it. They said I am hope. Sometimes I don't get it. If I take a look at myself, take a look at myself. I gotta get off, gotta get off, gotta get off, gotta get off, gotta get off of the oil. It's in my water, it's in my food, it's in the air that I breathe. I need that crude so desperately. I'm a junkie, it's my dope. I drive my car all night to have it beyond all hope. This deadly habit, I might as well admit. They said I am hope. Sometimes I don't get it. If I take a look at myself, take a look at myself. You know I gotta get off, gotta get off, gotta get off, gotta get off, gotta get off of the oil. I need my fix, and I need it today. And BP is my dealer, but they're making Louisiana pay. Oh, Louisiana, oh, Louisiana, oh, Louisiana. You know I gotta get off, gotta get off, gotta get off, gotta get off, gotta get off of the oil.
One important way to smash oligarchies that we sometimes forget is to get smart. No, not another 60s TV show. I actually mean getting smart. I believe that one reason we have landed in this slough of despond is that autocratic leaders have been stealthily undermining our public education for a generation, reasoning quite correctly that the stupider we are, the more likely we are to vote for their lame-brained platforms. We actually now have a new breed of young men especially, who despite the feminist movement are still destined to be our overlords one day, who grew up watching porn and playing violent and misogynist games in their mom's basements and remaining blissfully unaware of anything in the so-called real world. You can see the regressive and dangerous influence of that everywhere, including in the U.S. cabinet right now.
Keep them stupid if they're uneducated. It's easier to keep them subjugated. Keep them all in ignorant bliss. They won't see we're headed for the abyss. Keep them stupid, then they won't see that there's a global emergency. Keep their IQ low, then they'll believe that it's just a left-wing conspiracy. Give them religion so they don't murder the rich. We need a lower class who will still dig a ditch. Tell them learning is far too woke, and they won't notice when they're all broke. Keep them stupid, then they won't see that there's a global emergency. Keep their IQ low, then they'll believe that it's just a left-wing conspiracy. Make it harder for them to go to college. Nothing good comes from all that knowledge. Tell them that the money's gonna trickle down. Tell them that the water is supposed to be brown. Better to keep them in the dark. Make sure they're getting lower marks. Cut funding to the universities, the public schools and nurseries. Then you'll raise a generation that doesn't have the education to get the kind of critical thinking that lets them see the poison they're drinking. Tell them lies, they'll believe it's the truth, as long as you say that the truth's fake news. Do all this and they'll vote for you.
Look out, here comes an actual journalist. Be afraid, run away. They might speak the truth, they might influence youth. Who knows what they might say? Call them aliens, call them terrorists too. Get rid of the free press. They might notice we've made a mess.
Don't wanna get quizzical. Don't wanna get quizzical. No, let's not get into quizzical.
Here's one thing that I think gets overlooked too. Why has our culture come to revere the stinking rich, thinking they are somehow role models? It's led a generation to vote against their own interests, keeping taxes low for the nesting yacht rich in case one day we got there too. We honor and admire those who have screwed us over. It's the dangdest thing. Thomas Jefferson, 200 years ago, said, "There exists a false aristocracy based on family name, property, and inherited wealth. But there likewise exists a true aristocracy based on intelligence, talent, and virtue." Wouldn't that be nice? So this isn't a new problem. It's ironic that the U.S. banned the monarchy, but had been craving royalty to look up to ever since. "Every generation throws a hero up the pop charts," said Paul Simon, who was thrust there himself. First it was priests and kings, until it was movie stars, celebrities, and now billionaires, or even worse, as we are seeing, giving power to billionaire celebrities. Is there a way that we can return to Jefferson's dream, since we seem to want to have a class to revere, that it could be our thinkers, our visionaries, our scientists, our poets, our artists, our teachers, our nurses? If we can start to do that, then we are removing some of the oligarchy's power. This can be a part of something necessary. If we start to take away the cultural context that got those billionaires there, then we'll hold the power. Why do we look up to the greedy old bastards, bow down to them and make them our masters? Why do we take the pirates and frauds and elevate them into gods?
You work hard all the livelong day, crappy hours, crappy pay. Your ends don't seem to ever meet. You're gonna end up on the street. It's so sad, it's almost funny. You're making your boss's yacht money. Call that a job, it's God-forsaken. Aches and pains, back-breaking. You wonder where the money went. It goes straight to the 1%. You never stop, just like that bunny. You're making your boss his yacht money. High, your wages teeny. That's how he gets his Lamborghini. Come on, give us a great big smile. You've supported his lifestyle. Told you he'd be grateful if you started to win longer shifts and take a little cut in pay. 'Cause times are tough for the rich these days. He needs to winter somewhere sunny. You're making your boss his yacht money. Yacht money. Yacht money.
Okay, that's the end of Act 1 of Smashing the Oligarchy. Take an intermission-sized break and click on the link so we can follow right up with Act 2. See you there.